Hi everyone, this is Mimi, the business advisor. Today we're going to be talking about the Emergency Rural Healthcare Grant Program. Thank you very much for joining, and we will just dive straight into it. This is a program designed to help broaden access to COVID-19 testing and vaccines in rural areas. So it just lists all the people, individuals in companies or type of associations that will be eligible or for this kind of grant. So you're talking about rural areas, rural healthcare services and food assistance through food banks and food distribution facilities. There are two tracks for this funding. Okay, so the track one is the recovery grant, and it provides immediate relief to address the economic conditions arising from COVID-19 emergency. So the grants must be used in relation to COVID-19 pandemic and to support immediate healthcare needs, to help prepare for future pandemic events, and also to increase access to quality healthcare services and improve community healthcare outcomes or community health outcomes. And the grant for track 1 is from $25,000 and up to $1 million. Track 2 impact grants are advance ideas and solutions to solve regional health care issues, to support long-term rural health care. This one, the key term here is long-term sustainability, and it defines it as healthcare, improved health outcomes, improved access to quality healthcare, and creating and maintaining sustainable economic development for small communities. The grant for this one would range from $5 million to $10 million, and that's because it's more of a longer term objective than the short-term one. So the grant funds are limited to an applicable percentage of eligible project cost, and it's going to be up to 75%, and it's based on population and the median household income of the population you will be serving as a participant. So here it just tells you just a brief background. It was part of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 that was passed, and it provides this program up to $500 million in grant funding for eligible applicants and eligible facilities, so to help make sure people are getting their testing, their vaccines, all things related to COVID-19. Okay, so it just tells you background about this, and what we'll do as usual is include that in our show notes, so you can click and go to that website. If you've been getting value from this, please consider following us on our social media, Business Media TV on YouTube, on Facebook, and liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and sharing with anybody really that you think would benefit from this. So who may apply? Public bodies, community-based nonprofits, and federally recognized tribes. For track 2, applicants must also establish a network or group of entities that consist of healthcare provider organizations, economic development entities, federally recognized tribes or institutions of higher learning, which may include academic, health, and research institutes. So there's a broader list of eligibility for track 2, and eligibility here is facilities and projects must be located and primarily serve rural areas. And it gives you the definition of rural areas. It includes cities, villages, towns, townships, and federally recognized tribal lands with no more than 20,000 residents as determined by the latest census data. Okay, the grants can cover again up to 75% of eligible project costs. That's pretty cool. Depending on which track you're gonna get involved in. So let's just go through track 1. So this is track 1, the recovery grant. We already talked about this, the fact that it must be used for COVID-19 pandemic related stuff, and we already talked about the amount. So they're just saying they anticipate about 350 million in this funding for this track 1, and applicants may request assistance for one of the categories below, okay, and incurred on or before March 13th, 2020, and the funds must be used to, and then it gives you increased capacity for vaccine, provide medical supplies, just stuff like related to the vaccine. So, and to apply, you go to this link, and we'll put this in our show notes, and submit your application. The deadline, and this is what I wanted to make sure we catch, is October 12, 2021. So they must get that in by 4 p.m. local time. So local time, where whatever state you're in America. So if it's Eastern time, it'll be 4 p.m. Eastern. If it's Mountain time, 4 p.m. Mountain time. And the other thing you have to do is you have to take note is they will continue to accept this on a continual basis after this date if the funds are not exhausted. So until the funds are exhausted, pretty much. So if you still have a chance, if by October 12th that if they still have funds, you can still submit. But I would advise to be on the safe side to just make sure you put that in by October 21st. Okay, and there's the resources, the application guide, and then the checklist. Again, we'll put the link to our show notes so you can go and grab that information. Track 2, this is the longer term track. So we already talked about this portion before, now the previous page. So here it gives us a little bit more detail. So applicants may request assistance for one or more purchases below for expenses incurred during a 3-year award period. So it gives you, establish your skill, a regional partnership or consortium for healthcare. It gives you all the information, your establishing or skill and evidence-based model, and disseminate lessons learned. So this is for scholars of universities, or if you do a lot of medical research, then identify a health related problem within that your region, develop and implement a method and solution to overcome the problem, and conduct a program evaluation. This will establish a methodology to calculate summary impact measures. These are very academic or research, heavily based on academic research, and actually developing a solution to a problem. So they're encouraging applicants to consider projects in the following eye area needs. Okay, eye area needs. Okay, so you probably will get it'll be faster, and you probably get funding if you focus on one of these areas. Developing healthcare services that offer a blend of behavioral care with other medical services. If you're encouraging rural residents to seek care at their nearest hospitals. If you're supporting healthcare as an anchor institution in small communities, and expanding access to telehealth, electronic health data sharing, workforce development, transportation, paramedicine, obstetrics, behavioral health, farm worker health care, and cooperative home care. So my friends, if you're in any of these areas, just go ahead and put in this application, because this is specifically for you. Again, to apply, you click on this link, and then like the track 1, the applications must be received by 4 p.m. local time on October 12th, 2021. So, as of the time, we're recording this October 2nd, so roughly about 10 days from now. Okay, then it says to that track 2 impact application received after. Oh, this is actually different for this one. If they get your application after that date, it will not be considered. So for track 2, you have to get on it and make sure you put all your ducks together and put this in. You have 10 days. Okay, and then you have a link to the application guide and also the checklist. So if you're eligible for this, just make sure you just grab your docs, put your docs together, and just go ahead and apply. I just want to quickly go through this track 2 because there's more of an urgency for this. So this is the application guide, and this is what it looks like. And then you can just go through it. I'm just going to quickly go through this, and so you can see what it looks like. I mean, you would get a link to this, and then in the show notes, so you can go ahead and take your time to review it. So the use of grants, it just gives you more details. Okay, so that's what you see here, and you have your schedule, so many things. So my dear business friends, make sure you, I don't know what that is, make sure you get on this as soon as possible if you're planning to do the track 2, because with the track 2 you don't have as much time. And then this is the track 2 checklist. Okay, and it just says before you submit, just make sure you go through all this. It's, the things you're going to need to submit the application, the summary page, specific funding request, and just the information, and you have time again to put all this together. But this is good because at least they put this together for you, so that once you get all this together, you can and I'll just go through this so you can see right off the bat from here what you need. And if you don't, just in case you don't have time to go to the site right away, at least you see what you need to put together. So I'm just going to go through this slowly for you. Okay, and then it goes further down. If you're watching the video later, you can rewind and take your time and actually look at the specific areas. And it says you still have to get that Dun and Bradstreet number, which I discussed about. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a separate video to show folks about this Dun and Bradstreet number, because it is coming up a lot, so based on the information we've seen so far. So this is a track 1 recovery grants. I just want to quickly go through the checklist for this. Okay, so there you go. This is a checklist for track 1. It's not as long and detailed as track 2, so just put everything together. I'm just going a little bit slow so you can see what exactly is needed. And again, if you're catching this on replay, you can just rewind and look for that information and make sure you have it all together. Okay, and I will just quickly go through so we can see the guide, because I don't want to cover some things for one portion and not cover for the other. So I just want to quickly run through, show you what the guide is for the application guide for track 1. Okay, this is it. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. I really hope you guys apply and get this funding. I mean, it's a grant, you don't have to repay it back, as long as you're helping, for whatever they say you need to help with. And it's a lot of money. The minimum you can get from these 2 grants are, that's the minimum, $25,000 for this track 1, and then up to $1 million for track 1, and track 2 obviously with more money on the table for track 2. So there you go. Just quickly going to go through this with you, and that's it. it's not as much as a first track. And then that's just the appendix explaining, what the definitions are. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.